corporate raider Carl Icahn.
Carl Icahn has been agitating for change.
Billionaire Carl Icahn, who owns about 10% of Fairmont, launched a partial takeover bid last month. The company rejected it and began looking for alternatives.
On November 7, it really kicks it off. Carl Icahn puts the company into play. We have, in effect, really only a month to shop a $4 billion enterprise.
Carl Icahn is expert at spotting what he considers to be undervalued assets, or assets where a management intervention could create a big boost in the stock price. That's what he's famous for.
One thing we were probably most concerned about is, where's the company going? How are we going to address this bid and really demonstrate this company's got more value than what Icahn has put on it?
The fear was, if it was someone that wasn't a white knight, that they would come in and start selling off, certain of the Canadian assets to one entity, some of the U.S. assets to another entity. So the main fear was breaking up the company.
In a transaction where somebody throws an unsolicited bid, time is of the essence, and the board has to respond quickly. So we thought the best way to pull all of that information together would be to put it on an IntraLinks site.
We met with IntraLinks and saw their presentation on what they had available. We made 2 other inquiries, but they just paled in comparison to IntraLinks.
Those of us who've been practicing law or been involved in transactions have been through using paper data rooms.
We had been assisting Fairmont in a review of physical documents in Singapore, and that was a room crowded with paper, not big enough to actually accommodate all the people from Fairmont and its advisors who came to look at documents, and it made a difficult process for bidders to actually realize the value of the company.
In a physical data room, it's all paper driven. So you would have boxes and boxes of information about a company, and you would spend hours there summarizing these documents that you can't take out of the physical data room.
With a virtual data room, they're sitting at their own desk looking at a copy of the document on their screen, and just like a paper data room, you can forbid them from doing anything with that document except looking at it. With the IntraLinks system, they were prohibited from printing. They couldn't save it to their desktop. They couldn't manipulate it. They couldn't forward it to anybody else who wasn't an authorized user of the system. At the beginning, there was a bulk of material which we had in paper form that we had scanned, and IntraLinks loaded it onto the system in accordance with an index that we had given to them.
And so once you had the skeleton of the room done, it was just expanding the room to meet the needs of the potential buyers.
It was just a smooth, seamless process. Their technology support and their communication with us, and just being able to access documents from anywhere in the world where we were traveling, is incredible.
Once you get somewhat confident with the system yourself, IntraLinks hands you the keys. All of that is run by the managers of the system, which would be ourselves at that point.
There were well over 2,300 people who accessed the data room, and they were accessing it from various parts of the world in different time zones.
Instead of the photocopying costs and just distribution costs, it was so easy just having everything up on IntraLinks.
IntraLinks provides tremendous reporting on the use, so you know which users are into the data room. You can also see what they're looking at. Are they looking at the real estate? They're looking at hotel management contracts. You understand what assets they're interested in.
10 bankers boxes or 50 bankers boxes. For us, it really didn't matter. If it was going to be small or large, we could work with whatever they wanted.
We had 150,000 pages, and 150,000 pages of material could not be assembled, moved, shown to people in anything like the period of time which we had it loaded virtually.
When I was reviewing a document, when we were discussing a document via conference call, you know that everyone's looking at the exact same document because you can refer them to a publication. And so there's no question as to what version of a document someone is looking at.
At the end of the process, we had the ability to take that data room and put it on a few CDs, and that effectively was our disclosure statement.
Without IntraLinks, we certainly would not have hit the time frames for closing the deal that we were required to hit.
Often in these transactions, in the days of paper data rooms, there would be complaints that people weren't getting access to the information. In this process, no bidder had that excuse.
So as it turns out, we ended up landing on the best bid.
Fairmont Hotels looks a bit more regal today, accepting a $3.9 billion US bid. The total offer is $45 US a share in cash and comes from Prince Al Walid bin Talal in concert with real estate company Colony Capital.
It was clear that they were also going to take our company and combine it with the Raffles and Swiss Hotel brands, and there was a great sense of relief that we were being acquired by owners who had a real understanding and appreciation for our company.
IntraLinks has been integrated with Fairmont's business now. What was originally set up as a data room for the deal has now been turned into a kind of a workspace.
We've actually now taken the data room and have converted into a evergreen long-term records retention system that is web-based, which gives access to this wealth of information anywhere in the world.
We use IntraLinks on a daily basis. I would say it's open on my computer screen all day, every day.
So once you put the investment in a virtual workspace, you get dividends later by being able to use the same information for subsequent transactions or as a data storage for your company going forward.